Hi there, my name is Aubrey Gilman and I work for Collins Computing. Today we are going to be looking at some of our consultants' favorite features from Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013. We've asked our consultants which of the new features they thought that our customers would be able to use and really grab their attention. So all of the features that I'm going to be showing you have to do with setting up security for users. The first of these features has to do with user setup itself. To get to the user setup screen, you can go to the Microsoft Dynamics GP dropdown, then Tools, Setup, System, and then User. It'll ask you for the password that you've set up for your own company, and it'll bring you to the user setup screen. An alternate way of getting to this screen would have been to navigate to the navigation pane for administration, selecting that, and then hitting user, and that same screen would have appeared. So the first thing that we're going to do is to create a user. Now, when you're creating a user, you will have defined some parameters for your individual company, such things as a password policy and how long those passwords might need to be. If you're using class IDs and what type of roles that your users would be using. So here we're just going to pick an accounting manager role. Now there are several types of new fields here on this screen. The first is a user type for full or limited users. So you're going to select for this user, are they a full or limited user? The other new item is a status. You can have active users, you can have inactive users, which just means that their security, although it might be set for particular companies or roles or tasks, just aren't able to get into the system at this time. Then lesson users will only allow users to get into the sample companies like Fabricam. Once you have the user defined, you can go ahead and say copy my access. It'll ask you if you want to change that user or save that user, and then you're going to say what user you want to copy your access from and give that user the same access to roles, tasks, and companies within your organization. In this case, I'm going to select Mike Gilman to have the same access as Aubrey Gilman here, so I'm going to select that. And I'm going to say OK, and that's going to be assigned. The other things that you can look at that are new within this version are the summary. So for the users within my organization, how many do I already have set up as active full users that are signed in, and how many are limited users? And then for the full definition of my company, those user IDs and the status of whether they're active, inactive, or lesson user, and whether they're a full or limited user. The last thing I wanted to share was the ability to print for that user that you're looking at, what that user preferences are defined as. So for this user, they have access to all accounts, no, so I haven't set up the accounts. But then the other options within the user preferences of whether that user wanted the horizontal scroll bars, where the default report destination is to printer or to screen, whether the entry key is tab or return, the default document sales type of invoice, quote, order, etc. And then for the suggested entries, that whether they want to use those to remove entries, and all of the other features that are available within the user preferences. So again, the primary new features in this screen are the full and limited access, the summary, and just a refresher of how to copy access from one user to another and how to print. Thank you very much for joining us today.